Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Nuxweiler Burf, and tonight I'll be your game master and guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. Tonight, as we do every Tuesday evening, we are playing Outbreak Undead. If you're not familiar with this game, allow me to warn you, this game is not for the faint of heart. And I, as the game master, have confirmed consent with each and every one of my players. Our lines and veils have been very firmly drawn, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everyone at the table. We ask you for your consent as well, and we encourage you to read the content warnings very closely. This game offers us all opportunities to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imagination. But that takes bravery, and it takes the support of each and every one of us, you included. Not every character in tonight's tale is being played with the same objectives and motivations. Some are working directly against the other players, and others are in communication with dangerous outside forces. In this game, anything can happen. There are no magical swords to be discovered, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. The dangers in this world are worse than any of the dark nightmares that you may find in other role-playing systems. Simply put, our nightmare wears the face of a world that is familiar to all of us. It is the echo and dying gasp of our own civilization. Still, we hope to prove that in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. I would like to thank both JB Jara and Alex Hillman, and in fact the entire Hunters team, for helping to make this campaign happen. We ask that if you've not already, to please sign up for the Scry program in our panels below. There, you'll be able to engage with the communities of our apocalypse quite directly. You can take on the role of a survivor yourself and help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are most needed. Your choices tonight will make the difference between life and death to the linked settlements of the Rag and Bone universe. It's no small thing, the power that you wield. Our tireless Undead moderators are currently in the chat and prepared to help you by answering any questions that you might have. They're here to support your efforts, and we ask that you give them the appropriate respect. If you enjoy this content, we ask that you continue to make social media noise for us. Help us to grow and to bring more survivors into the fold. You can also join into our Discord and connect with others who enjoy the Rag and Bone universe. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce to you our players in tonight's little nightmare. Markia, welcome back. You stand alone as the only core cast member here tonight. We have three very special guests, but Achira's story will be continuing. Would you like to tell us a little about yourself, about what you do on the internet, and about your character, please?
Hello, everyone. I'm Markia McCarty. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty, MarkeiaMccarty. Here on Twitch is Darth Markia, on Facebook, Markia TV. Uh, yeah, so things around the internet. Thursdays, I do a Kids on Bikes campaign on Pixel Circus. Go ahead and check us out there. We are indeed in the year 1995 there, and I am an 11 and 3/4-year-old child that also talks to the dead. So it's well worth you to check that out. That's 8 a.m. PT on Thursdays. And keeping along with my my love of horror, because I do this Tuesday nights. If you are looking for a new podcast to check out Something Scary. We do multicultural tales from around the world, fan submitted urban legends. We adapt them, and we have that all together in one place. I'm a narrator, producer, and story editor for that. We also have animated weekly horror videos that you can check out on youtube.com/snarled. So, for my character Achira, she has been through a lot in the past year of this apocalypse. She is a stealthy rogue type character that believes that she is a lone wolf, that she doesn't need anybody else, but yet she's tragically, it seems, keeps hanging around and trying her best to see the good in people. And that has not worked out very well for her. She's been hunted by children that she's left behind. She's been hunted by a military camp full of survivalists that are that even captured her for a while. And she was hunted by a talking Romero, a talking zombie. And now she's in the clutches of the faction that sent that zombie after her. It's not a good day to be a Chira.
But there is some hope. As we will discover, Achira, you do have allies out in the wilds. Tonight, we will explore exactly where that help might come from. Alquin, welcome back. Once again, you have been with us more than once, and we are thankful for your time. Would you like to talk a little bit about what you do across the internet and about the character that you will be portraying tonight?
Sure. I'm Malcolm Gersh. I am a TTRPG developer, designer, and streamer. I'm working on a supplement for Outbreak or Undead right now for Hunters Entertainment called Danse Macabre, which is a Black Plague medieval setting for Danse Macabre. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch as Different Elves. That's different_elves. I'm going to be starting up a new series of GM prep videos coming up soon, just to let people in on my process and how I create characters and counters and maps and stuff for games. I am playing Kusanagi, who is someone who's interacted with some of our protagonists before, not always in a completely friendly way, but I mean, I think he has pretty good intentions about it. He definitely has some of his own goals. He is a rag and bone tape trader, someone who was a child when the fall happened in 1995, but has taken it on himself to conserve the legacy of the old world in its VHS tapes. His technical skills have enabled him to make friends with some of the various factions and get their protection in this very, very dangerous world. But he doesn't always like their methods, and sometimes they conflict with his larger goals. So I think in people like Achira and Lampwick, he sees the possibility of maybe people who are not beholden to some larger institution and limited by it. So, and when we last left him, he was in a pretty dangerous situation. So I'm interested to find out how he survived that.
Kusanagi was in a very difficult spot when we last left him. I suppose we will discover his fate very shortly. Janelle, you are the first of our special guests tonight, and we welcome you.
Thank you for having me. I've heard that guests have notoriously not done well in terms of surviving. So I am very interested to see how this will play out. So thanks again for inviting me on, everybody.
As we all are very interested to see how you fare tonight, we are very, very excited to have you here and know that you will bring something special to this group tonight. Would you tell us a little bit about what you do across the internet, where people can find you, and just a little bit about the character that you plan on playing?
Hi, so my name is Janelle Santa Cruz on all social medias. I am a variety streamer as well as a TTRPG player. I've done many campaigns and was part of a 1.5 year show on Hyper RPG called Blood Curdling Tales of Terror. Or pardon me, In the Loop. It was Terror and then In the Loop. And so yeah, I play a lot of Magic the Gathering on my stream. It's been a blast. Use Spell Table for that. We also play a variety of video games on my channel. And tomorrow I will actually be on TWD Universe doing the Apocalyptics, in which we're going to be doing scavenger hunts and putting together some weird sandwiches that I won't have to eat, but Brandon Winfrey will have to eat, which is great. And then also there is an episode I recorded of the Percast with 3 R's. So if you want to hear about The Adventures of Our Cats, you can follow that podcast. And so today, I am playing Miss Cherry Bomb, who is a little bit different in terms of everybody here, because I think that everybody is an echo, and she's a wild child. She was born after the fall of all this madness, and so has sort of just like used relics of the 90s to sort of hold on to that time, and sort of doesn't know how to use these things. Like maybe she doesn't know how to wear a fanny pack and uses it around as like maybe it's one of these, and so she's a little bit of a sassafras, and she doesn't put up with anybody's BS because she's a survivor. I'll tell you what, she's a headstrong survivor.
Amazing. We're very thankful. And if you haven't already, please find Janelle on Twitch and give her a follow and all of the support that our community is able to muster. Our next guest tonight is Omega. Omega, welcome. We're very glad to have you with us. Would you like to tell everyone a little bit about where they can find you, what you do here on the internet, and the character that you'll be playing tonight? Just a little about that character, if you don't mind.
Of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard across all social media channels. I am a professional actor and vocalist from the Midwest, turned tabletop professional and a full-time Twitch variety streamer over at twitch.tv/criticalbard, where I play silly games like Overwatch, but not right now because Dead by Daylight. I've recently gotten into Fork Knife, which has been an interesting thing. I do a lot. I do makeup. I do talk shows. I created and moderated the Black AF Roundtable, which was a series of talks with Black tabletop professionals about the realities of racism within the community and in tabletop in general. Yeah, I do way too much, and I'm happy to be here. You can catch me in many places, including on my channel on Saturdays for Let's Get Wild Mount for season 2, which is a Critical Role 5e Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I'm also the DM of Dungeons and Durags, which is an all-black Dungeons and Dragons campaign over on twitch.tv/INDG. You can catch me on Realmsmith for Into the Mist. You can catch me on Tampo, which is a D&D campaign using Sina Una, which is a campaign setting that is inspired by pre-colonial Filipino culture. Many places. I am way too many places, but that's okay because I enjoy myself. And again, I'm a hot mess. But today, I'll be playing, well, you'll find out, but I'll be playing Jamarcus Greaves. Marcus, he is a former cop from the past. He has survived because of his kind heart. He will not let this world and its horror blacken the very thing that keeps him going. He knows how to get by. No matter how big his heart is and no matter how much he cares and empathizes, don't get it twisted. He can read you from a mile away, and he knows when someone's trying to use him, and he knows who to trust and who not to trust, and especially after these long, hard years. He's been here for a long time, especially in this time. He knows what he needs to do, and he does it very well. That's him for now.
We are so very thankful for your presence and for everything that you do for the community here. Now then, all of you, thank you. The road is long. It's getting dark. We should start moving before it's too late. We'll be right back. The world ended on Monday, May 29th, 1995. The sky fell, and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed, and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it started out simply as another round of the flu. It became something far, far worse. H195, commonly known as the Legacy or the Reaper's Kiss, was deadly. It spread quickly. It seemed to be unstoppable. At first, it seemed as though no one was immune to the airborne strain. But eventually, it appeared that 0.01% of the population had a natural immunity. However, even those lucky souls couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus through a bite, or a deep scratch, or blood-on-blood contact. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought security and sanctuary where none was to be had. Entire cities burned to the ground, but miraculously, some survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward. The world now is a fractured place, wild and overgrown. But some seek to make civilization anew. Outposts and settlements are scattered across what was once known as the Midwestern United States. And merchants, known as Rag and Bone, travel those lands, bringing goods and services to where they're needed most. The Ender's Line is one such group, and they use old railway tracks to connect these outposts, hoping, praying that perhaps there may yet be some hope for them. The Ender's Line is a lifeline in a world that now belongs entirely to the dead. Achira. The rain batters down heavily on the tin roof of the shack that you found yourself in. From the knees down, you're covered in thick, heavy mud, and you're shivering as the cold wind blows through Sullivan Town. This ramshackle community is mostly abandoned. Only a few souls still survive here. You and your companion have made your way here, originally with 2 others from the Citadel, but they have left, having no friends here. This small, wayward community has been suffering under the boot of the Citadel for some time. There is much rancor and hatred here. Still, you and your companion Lampwick have found some aid and support. But there's something else. The group known as the Shepherds are here. Strange, wandering missionaries dressed all in black that roam the apocalypse, preaching of their cult, of the end of days, and of something known as the Hand of Malachi. Lampwick wasn't there when you woke. The starvation, the dehydration had set in, and you had passed out. But when you woke, you heard the crackling sound of a radio, and you recall the man known as Robin had mentioned that there was, in fact, a radio here, and that Rowan had assisted in repairing it. It seems as though someone has left this radio on, and you made the decision to venture forth into the rainy night to be able to find the source of that sound. In this shack, with the door swinging in the breeze, you found the ancient CB radio. tethered together with rubber straps. The wires are frayed, but the lights flicker, and you hear a familiar voice.
Does anyone read me? Does anyone read me? Come in. Achira, Lampwick, anyone? Kusanagi, anyone? Over.
Achira's going to go to the CB radio. She's going to respond.
You're still tired and wounded, but you pull yourself to the CB. What do you say?
10-4. This is Achira. So much has happened. We lost Digger and Kusanagi with the Marauders. Citadel had a hold of us. We were on our way to that location that we talked about where Digger might be able to help us get there, to that person's location. Do you know where Sullivan Town is?
Oh God, Achira, it's so good to hear your voice. I swear I thought I was down more operatives. You said you're in Sullivan Town.
Yes, and I'm not the only one that's here. Lampwick is here as well, and another person called Camilla. She's here. She's no friend of the Citadel as well. She's in bad shape. She's in one of the huts here, but 10-4, the shepherds are here. In Sullivan Town.
Listen, I don't have a lot of good news for you right now, Achira. At the moment, the Enders we're being decimated, and it's not just us. It's every group of Rag and Bone out there is being targeted. Someone is trying to cut off the communities of the pen. They're trying to scare who's still out here. We've lost stations. 16, 28, 37, they're gone. But listen, Achira, I do have operatives that are in your area. If you're in Sullivan Town, I've got a group nearby. I had them scouting the area, trying to find you and Lampwick and the rest of the crew.
I need help. They locked the wall. And they know that I'm here. It's only a matter of time before they're going to start looking for me. They made this thing 10-4, an abomination. It's a Romero it's like some kind of beast, and they made it out of one of their silent sentinels. And it knows me. 10-4, I have got to get out of here. With or without Lampwick at this point. Lampwick, he's going to need some medical help as well. If we have any kind of line on Digger or anyone who has extensive medical expertise, we're going to need them. If not, then maybe with the shepherds is the best place for him to be.
Oh, fuck. I've heard rumors confirming a lot of what you're saying here, Achira. There's some strange things happening out here with the Romero swarms. It's just, we're seeing behavior we've never seen before. There's these just unnaturally quick biters, and from what you're describing, that must be what we've been hearing about, these just huge things that don't act like the other Romeros. And we've seen the missionaries out and about, but we've also had these reports of people just dressed in all black. They're doing something. But look, I don't know fucking how bad is Lampwick?
He's in and out of it, but he's mostly fine. If I don't have to leave him behind, I'd rather not, but if at this point the only people that could help him are the shepherds, then I will leave him here, but I don't think that's going to be good for him. You know how he is.
I don't think it'd be good for him either, but if you have to get out of there, Achira. You can't stay in Sullivan Town. The crew I have, they're about 4 clicks north of you. You need to go. You need to try to intercept with them. And if you can get Lampwick out, Godspeed, but I can't lose both of you.
Achira, I need you to make a spot listen check, please.
Am I using any of my recon gear, or is this a straight roll?
It's a straight roll. You're not actively using any gear. And also you have 2 black dice of difficulty as it is raining on a tin roof and there's a loud radio to your ear.
Yeah, that tin roof rusted.
Two degrees of success. Congratulations. You hear a floorboard creak on the porch outside of the building that you're in.
I would think by this point with Achira's relationship with the Enders, Rag and Bone in general, that there has to be some sort of innocuous code or safe word that's like can't talk now kind of a thing or phrase. I would think that they would have.
Tell Franny I said hello.
Well, that's it for me. I'm safe and secure. I'm just gonna bunker down for a while. So just tell Franny that I said hello. Talk to you later.
Over and out.
And Achira's gonna step away from the CB radio.
It continues to pop and hiss. The light flashes. It's dark in here. It's gotten darker. And the rain falls. Outside, you hear the splattering of mud. The endless drum of the tin around you. But you hear nothing else. What do you do?
Achira's going to go towards the door, like everything's normal. She is going to try to do this stealthily, though, to see if she can poke her head out to see who, if anybody, is standing outside in the rain.
Go ahead and make a stealth check for me. No, in fact, no dice of difficulty due to the noise that's around you. You're able to carefully and quietly move across the space, peeking through the doorway. If you have any gear, you're welcome to use it.
Okay, thank you.
It's a single degree of failure, which isn't the worst thing that could happen to you here, but do you wish to use any of your competency points to make that better?
No, I have a feeling that I'm going to need them later, so I will hold on to them.
You start moving forward, and as you reposition yourself closer to the door, it jostles under your touch more than you expected, and the door swings for a moment before shutting again, and it bangs. You then hear sound of running away from you.
Achira's going to dash out into the rain to see who it was.
You dash out into the rain, and you see Robin running away from you. The 30-year-old man stumbles and falls, slips in the mud. He's far too far away from you at this point to stop him, but he stands, he looks like he's unarmed, and looks back for just a moment. Fear in his eyes, the fresh bruise across his face, and he looks at you with fear and perhaps something else. Make for me a detect motives roll.
Yeah, she's never been good at reading people.
And certainly not from 50 feet away in a rainstorm. You don't know what he's thinking, but it can't be good. He continues to run, and you lose sight of him. With your with your 5 degrees of failure on that roll, I'm going to say that the rain is drenching you heavily, and you are chilled down to the bone. You shiver as you realize that anything that's happening around you on the wall, it's going to be very hard to see. It's now dark, it's stormy. The lights here haven't been lit. Everything is gas lamps and other small candles that have been lit. This part of Sullivan Town isn't often used. It's mostly abandoned. You're in the dark. What would you like to do?
Did Achira come out here with her stuff? Like, she usually is not empty-handed.
Yes, you have, I believe if you wish to have carried everything with you after you woke on the cot, I say that there's certainly nothing wrong with you having carried your things with you. You didn't have much.
Yeah. And Lampwick wasn't there when she woke up. Okay.
Correct.
Achira's going to scout the wall where it was locked before, because chances are there's another way out. She just wants to check to see how fortified that location is, if maybe there's a changing of the guard or something that's happening that she's not aware of right now.
Make a search check for me, please.
Can I use my recon gear with this?
Absolutely.
Two degrees of success.
You work your way along the wall, and you realize Sullivan Town is protected, but there are many, many security flaws in the wall that they've constructed around it. Mostly these are rusted vehicles, old shipping containers, and wood and metal structures that have been tethered together. If you wanted to, you could try to slip through any number of small cracks and gaps. You could scale the side of one of the outcroppings. The only problem is that the tops seem to have been heavily wrapped in razor wire.
Any way to slip through as opposed to over?
Yes, perhaps. You begin searching. And finally, you find a gap that you think you can pry open. Do you make your way out into the wilderness, or do you stay in Sullivan Town? I will remind you, both Lampwick and Camilla are still here.
I'll head back into Sullivan Town so that Lampwick can know.
You close the panel and turn back to the gray, shabby village as the rain...
I note exactly where it is to get back to here.
You do. And you make your way through the street. We'll come back to you. Jamarcus Greaves. You're known as Marcus to almost everyone now. Your apocalypse didn't happen in 1995. It happened in 1982 when you were 10 years old. On a summer vacation to visit family in Virginia, a truck driver hauling a semi-trailer full of steel jumped the median and barreled into your family's station wagon at over 60 miles an hour. The concrete barricade tore like paper and crumpled the front end of your car instantaneously. Your father was killed on impact, but your mother and you both survived the initial crash. The truck driver, who had fallen asleep at the wheel from running on amphetamine and coffee for far too long, was thrown through the windshield and landed in the middle of the road. You remember him, broken like a discarded action figure. You also remember your mother's face and how strangely calm she was. She was crying, but not in a wild, uncontrollable way. It was peaceful, gentle, and her voice still wakes you in the night sometimes. Jamarcus Anthony Graves, you're going to be okay, baby. You're going to do good things. I love you so much. She died with her hands on your cheeks, pulling you close to her, your foreheads touching. A smear of warm blood binding you together. You were lost. Your whole world was destroyed in a moment, in the blink of an eye. At that point, the flames and smoke, they were getting worse, and you didn't want to leave. You were confused, and everything felt like it was covered in fog. But thankfully, you were not alone. The sirens of red and blue flashing light registered to you eventually. You remember seeing the face of a overweight man with a red nose and tired-looking eyes, like a beagle. He was dressed in a police uniform, and he pulled you away from the fire and your parents. He talked to you. He wrapped you in a blanket, and he said something to you that you'll never forget. Stay with me, son. The world's not done with you yet. I'm gonna help you. He was balding, pudgy, and looked more like a cartoon character than a hero. But that man suffered third-degree burns pulling you out of the fire, and then trying desperately to extract your mother from the car. He failed at that. His name was Joseph Smitty, but he always went by Joe. He sent you birthday cards and was in the front row of the auditorium when you graduated from the police academy. You graduated with honors from East Carolina University and started to serve the greater metropolitan area in Philadelphia. You didn't do this because you loved the police. There wasn't much to love. It wasn't an easy road, but you were good at what you did. And you were on track to become the youngest detective in history in the 12th district. You were making changes, as hard as it was. In the middle of a corrupt system filled with cops that envied you and hated you for all of the wrong reasons, you rose above it and became what you knew you could always be. A hero. One of the good guys. Someone that could make a difference in a person's life. Somebody that could work and help and change everything. You were barely old enough to drink a beer legally when you took on the badge and you started patrolling the streets. That was 1995. And now, the world really does end. You're a young man. You're looking at the streets of Philadelphia, on fire around you. Buildings are burning. You have a shotgun, a torn sleeve. Your partner is already dead, came lunging at you, covered in her own blood. She was gnashing and biting at you. She went crazy. You tried to restrain her, but then it became apparent. She had turned into one of those things. You did what you had to do. And now you're standing in the street outside the precinct. Helicopters fly through the air. There are explosions in the distance. People are screaming. Describe yourself, Marcus, and tell us what you do.
Before you is barely 23, 24 at this point. Young, there's a light in his eyes, even in this chaos. He's wearing a uniform. He does the job. Pants, shirt, a belt with different objects in it. At this point, he doesn't even know if it still works. A walkie-talkie on his shoulder, looking around at all the turmoil that's happening. Rich, brown skin, hair, curly but more kinky, shaved on the sides. He's probably trembling at this point, but he's trying to keep it together. Even in his youngness, he's seen a lot. It's Philadelphia. A lot happens. But this is different. This is a reality that shouldn't be. But the first thing he does after bringing himself together, he reaches for that walkie-talkie. He pulls it to his mouth. Hello? This is Officer Greaves. Is anybody there? What the fuck is going on?
Greaves! Get to Central train station.
She's dead. And I don't know where or what to do. Train station, you are breaking up. Repeat.
Marcus, everything is silent now. The radio seems to be dead quiet. Screaming off in the distance, the fire, the helicopters overhead. You watch as a military helicopter slams into a skyscraper. It knocks into the monument to the left of it and explodes, skewered. You see a figure bleeding from the scalp, stumbling towards you in the street. It's George Wong. He worked at the newsstand not far away. His granddaughter is in his arms. You know these people. You know all of them. He's crying and he sees you. Officer Greaves, she got bit. You've got to help her, please.
I rush over. What do you mean she got bit?
I don't know. A man, he just ran at us. I tried to lock the door, but I wasn't fast enough. And Susanna, she reached out and he just grabbed her. I can't do this. What is happening?
As he's talking, I'm going to get down on one knee, and immediately though he is discombobulated and trying to make sense of what is senseless, he instantly comes to and he starts looking at this young one, trying to see exactly what he means by being bit, where it is, what it looks like. I don't know what I have on me at this moment, but I'm going to, even if I need to rip off a piece of clothing just to like get the wound tight, but he's going to try to see exactly what is going on.
You rip your other sleeve and you wrap it quickly around the bleeding bite on her arm, and immediately her eyes, now bloodshot and red, filling with this black ichor, open. And she jerks forward, grabbing her grandfather, pulling him to her, and rips out his throat in front of you. Blood sprays across your face. And then she turns to you.
I immediately back up. My gun's down, but he's looking. You are okay. Let me get you to a hospital or something.
The girl stands and stumbles forward like a broken doll.
I take a step back, but I don't move, just my foot's going back, but it's more so a stance. Sit down. Let me fix this.
The child starts to run towards you, but before she can grab you, a car rams into her and throws her body across the road as it screeches on its brakes right in front of you. The car crashes into a fire hydrant and water starts to spray everywhere. The driver is now dead, and a large mass of individuals are roaming the streets of Philadelphia. It looks like a riot. All of them are lying together, but they're not moving quickly. They're moving slowly, dragging themselves towards you. And that, Marcus, is how it all began for you. Cherry Bomb.
Yes.
There were no parents in your pack, Cherry Bomb. The oldest of your group was 17. A ragged, non-binary badass named Monday. They protected you and even saw that all of the Romeros that would attack your group were dead. You once saw them take on 12 of the things all at once. The Big Ups and the Echoes stayed their distance. They didn't mess with your group. They called you ferals or lost causes. They didn't know nothing good. And as you and your home runs sat in your stronghold known as the Pine Rest Mall, you knew that in your area, this was your kingdom, and that no one could take anything from you without your say-so. But sure enough, some of those rag and bone, they came proper. You and your pack would trade and scrap the rich stuff. You found others that liked to do the same. There were tapes that all of you would play, using the machines that Four Eyes and Mona Lizard would bring back from the others. Each of you would see a world that didn't make any sense on those tapes. A world of color and life, of people without a care in the world. There are no dead walking in most of them, though you did see some that had them. Plenty of the dead roam in some of them. But they didn't roam the way that you've seen these roam, the Romeros that walk your lands. The more that you learned about the rag and bone, the more that you wanted to see what they saw. Their lip service was all about the big places that people were making out in the wilds. And so you and Malibu Stacy joined up with a chick named Ruby, and you traveled the Steel Road for a couple of years, talking back and forth and killing all the Romeros that you found. You're a good fighter. You're fierce. You're tough. You take no shit from anyone. Stacy and you split up a few months ago, but you knew that you'd catch up when the time slot was right. Life out here ain't the same for you ferals. The Echoes, they're always so broken and sad. And yeah, the tapes, they show some big mind-fucking trips. But you fucking know what? Whatever it is, They don't have it anymore. They're just tapes. It's like their hearts have been dead forever, and they're just roaming, just like the dead, just like the Romeros. The world and the tapes, that ain't real. This world's the only party in town. So all those slackers should get over it and start fighting back. Take what they want. Make the world their own. And you're standing there in one of these storehouses that have been left by the Ender's line. Ruby taught you well. She's married to the leader of that pack, known as 10-4. There are boxes here, some crates, some other things.
I start tearing at some of the boxes with my knife.
You start
Crates.
cracking open the crates and the boxes. Go ahead and make a search check for me, please.
Okay. Search.
Yeah. So it is on your character sheet, right
I
underneath
see
where
it,
says
yeah.
pain. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Just see if this is gonna pop up. It's being a little bit difficult. Oh wait, I got it now. Okay. Search.
And then you have your gear and your kit with you. So if you'd like to use a 3 times modifier, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. Let's see. I might need you to do this one for me because it's stuck on the trained skills.
Yeah, I'll do this for
Actually,
you.
search. I think I can. Yeah, it's stuck on the one. Okay, and I think I would like to use my modifier since I'm using my knife.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So you're using your knife. You're going to use that modifier. You have, let's see here. I've rolled for you. You have 3 degrees of success. You pop open the 2 containers in front of you and you start digging through them. You find dried meat in one of them. You find bottles filled with small handmade pills, and they're plastic jars that have been hand corked and sealed with wax. In the second box. On the third box, you find what looks like handgun ammunition.
I start pocketing the handgun ammunition.
Now, you know, since you're here alone right now, that you're waiting on the other Enders to show up. You've been directed to this safe house. And you know that if you're lucky, you'll get a share of some of what's present here. You can take whatever you want, of course, but technically these goods and services are meant to go out to the communities around you.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm just putting stuff in my bag just for to divvy up because I mean I'm not gonna try to get engaged with anybody, you know, and get into a fight. So I'm just doing it for the sake of the pack.
Yeah, so you're keeping it safe to you. So you're filling up your bag as quickly as you can. And outside so this is a cinder block room. It's one of the many safe houses that have been built for the Ender's line. They're cinder block boxes, effectively, but they go sometimes underground a little ways, and they have a warm roof, and they have usually a table that is set up with various equipment. Sometimes there's a radio there, sometimes there's an old television and a generator. Now, since there's no electrical grid in this world, everything is gas powered. So you have to find propane or another sort of generator to get any of these electronic devices to function. And while you are a wild child, you have learned how to make some of these things work. There is a generator here, there is a radio, and there is also a television here with a VCR attached to it. On the top of the VCR, there is a white boxed tape.
Okay, I take out the box, the tape from the box.
You look at it, and it says on the front, "Be kind, rewind." And there are a series of dots and dashes that are across the front of it.
I go and I pop it into the VCR.
You pop the tape into the VCR. Do you hit play?
Yes, I look over my shoulder and see if anybody's around first.
No one else is here yet. You're the first to arrive to the station.
And I'll press play.
beginning clinical testing. I'm not sure who's going to find this, but I pray that you can also.
My name is Outbreak, and
we tested a radical antivirus that produced complete reversal of the devastating H1N5 virus. We can reestablish a bright future without fear or oppression.
spread the truth.
Trust the good
And the silent sentinels, those who never wait.
and always stand true to their words, to their heart. Find us. I don't know our exact location. We've been kept in a facility maintaining this research facility for so long. But there are people on the outside who know how to find us. They know where the shipments are coming from. And if you are watching this video right now, it means someone has found our videos inside of one of our shipping containers. And they've passed it on, and they can help you get back to us. No one is safe. No one. Hear the truth. Whatever you do, stay away from the machines. They are not what they seem. You cannot trust them. They're a twisted mockery of the old world's religions. Their belief is poison. And they will do anything in service of their prophet, an old man named Malachi. They are a cult, and they are far more dangerous than you could ever imagine. And they are everywhere. I've seen the trucks covered with snow. And I believe the shipments or transports coming from the south. And the power that would be required to maintain this facility would require...
The light from the television flickers. Static fills the space.
I try to adjust it to see if it was like if I could fix anything.
It was heavily damaged, but you saw what you saw. It wasn't very entertaining, and if this was one of those tapes that are traded back and forth by the Ender's line in this area, you don't hold out much hope for any good trades in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What a waste. And just like dump it on top where it was. And then I start heading down to search to see if there's anything else that I can find while the others are coming.
Gathering things, and you can make me a spot listen check.
Spot listen check. Okay.
That is 4 degrees of failure. So because of the television and perhaps you searching through the boxes, I'm going to say that you probably don't hear anything. But since you have competency points, Cherry Bomb, if you would like, you could spin them to mitigate this failure.
I'm going to save them for now.
Okay. So you're digging through all of this gear and you're rummaging throughout the boxes and the bags here. This is a small shed. The door is a heavy metal door that has multiple locks on it, but you know the combinations. And so you were able to enter in. Marcus, you've moved through, walking the line. This is where 10-4 asked you to go. This is station 39. Someone's here.
Pistol is on the side, hands on it, but nothing's moving yet. I'm just gonna wait and listen to see how many might be here, why someone's here. Well, not really why, but was I told that anyone else would be here, or?
You're expecting to meet up with other Rag and Bone.
Okay.
There have been horrible things happening in the wilds. Someone is attacking the Ender's Line and other Rag and Bone groups. Merchants are being killed on the roads and displayed in gruesome ways to try to deter anyone else from picking up their cause. Communities are suffering and dying, starving, without clean water or medical supplies. Things out here get rough. Before we go further, though, Marcus, would you like to describe older Marcus now that we're in the modern day?
Yeah. Um, I, he's still, even in this world, tries to keep a good appearance, not for vanity's sake, but for calming sake. People can empathize with someone who is put together, and he's not trying to fake that empathy, but it's easier for him to do his job, um, to be there for people if people can immediately trust him. So the sides of his head are still shaved in the way, but it's definitely more crude. His hair is a lot longer. There's some white starting, some gray starting to come through at the top, at the end of the curls, at the end of the kinky curls, at the end. Um, Wearing, whatever he really can, some makeshift things just for armor's sake. Um, he seems a lot. At first glance, he seems very gruff. There's a thick 5 o'clock shadow. Um, um, there's a deepness in his eyes, but past that, piercing through is still that light. There's still a warmth, even past the coolness that he, at first glance, gives off. He's about 5'11", 6 foot. On the slightly bigger, not like big as in large, but just like he has some mass to him. He seems like someone who definitely has been through it, but someone who has survived, as you can see. So that's him.
I'd like for you, please, Marcus, to make a search check.
Okay. I heard it be said earlier, but I do have recon gear if I could use that.
You absolutely may, as you've heard and seen what you've seen. The door is open, someone is here. So since you're prepared, you gather your recon gear and start to move forward slightly. Go ahead and make your roll.
And what's my multiplier for this?
3.
3? Just making sure.
Yes.
Okay.
You only have 1 degree of failure, which isn't the worst. It is a windy, rainy night.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm expecting people, so I'm not expecting the worst out of this, but it's just for caution sake.
You're unable to tell how many people are here, just that someone is here.
Okay. Hand is still on my pistol, and I'm assuming there's a door.
Yes, there's a open, slightly cracked open metal door. The locks have been opened. It doesn't look like they were broke. They're hanging on the hooks still. And you hear the sputtering of what sounds like a television and perhaps a tape. And then the light changes and you see static and some muttering perhaps on the inside as boxes shuffle around.
And since I failed so terribly, Cherry's just sort of singing to herself, like Cotton Eye Joe, as I'm like moving around looking for stuff. And then I toss the thing really loudly since she's being careless.
Mm-hmm. You're pushing some stuff around. You're outside the door, Marcus. What would you like to do?
Hearing the tape first and foremost, there's a sense of familiarity. But then hearing the singing, the very blasé singing, hand is still on the pistol, but slightly looser as he gets to the door and slowly begins to open it, to make sure he can hear first and see first before he goes inside. And he'll begin to walk inside, but still keeping low, keeping quiet as possible.
You've been moving this area. You've been moving around in this area now for only a few months. You traveled pretty much as far as you could, heading almost to the wastes where New York once stood. You've worked your way around the swarms to the south and done your best to support the breadbasket. You've been up to Ironheart, and you know what waits there. The others, those that have been working with the Ender's Line, You don't know them so well. The person inside doesn't look familiar to you, but you've seen a lot of these younger people that have come up through the Ender's line that are part of what others call ferals or wild ones.
Seeing them out, just who's there?
I turn around and I whip my knife out.
Would you describe yourself, please, Cherry Bomb?
Cherry Bomb's very raggedy. She doesn't really, she's kind of has dirt all over her face. She wears makeup because she likes the makeup that she's seen in these old posters and these CD covers and in old magazines, but it's very smeared. It's very smeared, and her hair hasn't been combed. And she's just got her backpack kind of slung around her. She's about average height, like 5'4", 5'5". She's got kind of bad posture, and she's ready to kind of fight at any point. And her clothes are dirty.
Seeing her, hand is still positioned, but left hand goes out.
Who are you?
I'm Marcus. Who are you?
As if Marcus is supposed to tell me everything about you. Who are you, Marcus?
Before I answer, I just look around. Does it seem like anyone else is in here with her?
You don't see anyone initially. If you'd like to make a second search check, you can.
Just to be on the safe side? Sure. Am I worried? No. Just being on the up and up.
Understandable. You've been ambushed before. You have 2 degrees of failure here. Do you wish to do anything about that, Marcus? All right. So what would you like to do, Cherry Bomb?
So because I know nobody's here with me, she kind of goes into like panic mode and starts backing up into the corner, but keeping the knife drawn and trying to like circle around Marcus to the door to make a run for it if I need to. And then, so I'm moving towards the door and trying to circle around Marcus.
My apologies. Who sent us here again?
10-4 with the Ender's line.
Okay. I'm here because of 10-4.
10-4?
Yes.
What do you know about 10-4?
What do you know about 10-4?
10-4 is one of mine.
Well, apparently it's one of mine too. Within this line as well. Just, I'm not here to fight you.
10-4 didn't say anything about someone named Marcus.
He probably wouldn't. But
well, then that means you're a threat then. Why,
I'm
if he wouldn't...
a threat.
What's that? And I point towards his belt where his hand is. What's that then if you're not a threat?
Me making sure that you weren't a threat.
I try to bolt for the door.
I will move. I'm not going to try to stop her.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also showing that if I wanted to try to stop her, I could, but I'm not.
Cherry Bomb, make a detect motive roll for me.
It's like one of those cats. Okay, detect.
Mm-hmm. You're very good at sensing people and understanding things about people on an instinctive level, Cherry Bomb. So let's see how you do here.
Is that in? Okay, there it is. I see it. All right.
Marcus, as you move aside, she attempts to jolt past you. Cherry Bomb, you don't believe Marcus is lying to you in this moment. You think he might be telling the truth, and he certainly could stop you if he wanted to. He doesn't, however.
Okay, so as I realize that he's not trying to stop me, I stand in the doorway and then I put my knife away. 10-4 told you to come here. What's it for?
I was to meet some people. Perhaps there was something they needed done. I'm not sure. You're the first one I've seen.
There's something over there that maybe you want to see. I point towards the TV.
I will look at the TV. Is there anything playing right now, or is it still just staticky?
Static. Roll in.
And then I walk in, and then I rewind it, and I press play for him to see it.
You watch as the tape rewinds, and then it plays, and the same video is played before you, Marcus. Having seen it, it raises a lot of questions. You've heard rumors about some sort of cure.
You think there's any truth to this thing?
I don't know. I have hope, sure, but I'm also... You can't believe everything. But this is old. There could be some truth. But I don't like going on half-truths. Who else is supposed to be here?
Ruby, some of the others, Four Eyes. 10-4 is supposed to be here by now. No, nothing happened. When's the last time you talked to 10-4?
Maybe a week or so ago. I know my way around. I don't need to keep in contact, but I would have assumed that there would be more answers coming here, but now it seems we're at a standstill. Are you? And he says this, he pauses, and he says this in the most caring way possible, but it probably comes off as condescending. And he says, are you capable of handling yourself?
I like to think so, yeah. And then she does a cool, like, knife trick.
There's a loud shudder as the door behind you shakes. Both of you need to make a composure check.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Don't like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I know.
I have nothing for this. No multiplier. Why is it? Okay, guess one. Okay, yeah.
1 degree of failure for Cherry Bomb.
Oh.
1 degree of success for Marcus.
Ooh, on the dot.
So I was like, ah!
On the dot, exactly. So you almost just pull your weapon around and start firing instinctively, Marcus, but you hold back. Cherry, I think you do lose your composure here to a slight extent. You don't scream or anything like that, but what do you think is a good failure here?
I think I just I lose grip of my knife and it kind of like, oop, you know.
As you were brandishing it forward, yeah, you slip as you stumble back and your knife tumbles to the floor, the dirt floor in front of you. You're disarmed. There's a figure, bloody, face torn, bleeding in front of you. At first, you think it's a Romero.
Yeah, gun is almost at the ready.
Yeah, I go to the floor to clamor for my knife.
I need you both to make detect motives.
Okay.
And it would be very, very beneficial if you did not fail these rolls. Cherry Bomb, that is 3 degrees of failure.
And that's actually 4 degrees of success for me.
4 degrees of success for Marcus. That's amazing.
I can use competency points.
You can use competency points if you like, but I will remind you, all of you, especially those of you that are new, once they're gone, you will not be getting any more.
Okay. Since it's so many degrees, I will not, because I will still have 2 degrees even if I use 1.
It's a Romero. You're certain. What is your reaction? What is your intention in this moment, Janelle?
I look over to Marcus for help because I'm on the ground and I'm having trouble finding my knife because it's so dark in there. And so as I'm looking, and then I look over to Marcus, I'm like, aren't you going to do something? Come on, man.
Marcus, what is your intention in this moment?
This figure is bloody, standing, face torn. Firstly, have I seen any other, I know there's been talk about it, just for my sake, have I heard of or seen any other type of this Romero? Anything that's not like a typical, zombie that we know?
Nothing with your own eyes. but you've heard a lot of stories. Too many stories for it to be simply a lie or a campfire tale meant to scare the young ones. Kusanagi, what is your intention?
I'm assuming that I am this bloody-faced person.
Yes, you would be assuming correctly.
You can see the figure's eyes look sort of. He's obviously exhausted, and he's looking around, and part of him looks very scattered and like just that he's almost like in a dissociative state. But if either of you read character very well, you'd see that it's an act, that he's actually scanning both of you up and down and try to get as much information as he can about both of you while you're distracted by his entrance.
All right, so with the intentions in place, Kusanagi, I'll have you make a detect motives check so that you can read the room. Marcus, you know that this is a living person. Mm-hmm. They may not be living for very long, given the state of their wounds. They're claw marks, deep gashes that run down the side of this individual's cheek on the right side, down their shoulder. It's bad. And the rain and the wetness has caused the blood to sort of pool out even more. And this individual's soaking in their own blood. Although it looks like they've done some first aid to try to staunch the bleeding. What would you like to do here? Like, I guess with you reading this, are you going to hold your action to see what happens, or are you going to do something else?
Well, they seem like they were attacked, but they're also standing there in this door, not doing anything. Seemingly, I assume with my 4 degrees of success, I could tell that this is performance is the wrong word, but it seems like this is a very intentional stance versus.
I think you read all of that.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
You know. I think game knows game in this situation, and you're watching this individual watch you, and the two of you probably kind of size each other up. You know that they're assessing the situation and that they're not as badly hurt as they seem, although it is a gruesome wound.
Cool.
Kusanagi, you have 2 degrees of failure on your roll for detect motives. Do you wish to change that?
No, I mean, I kind of assumed that these two would be picking up on it. I'm trying my best to be pragmatic and control my presentation, but I am pretty fucked up.
Cool.
Marcus, do you want to add anything else to that?
Yeah, I mean, seeing this, they may play Chutes and Ladders, but I play Jumanji. So I watch and I see this. My gun still raises because I'm not in the mood for games and I'm not in the mood for one-upping. And I just say, speak your piece or die.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not one of them, just so you know. You're not a Romero. Who are you? And why are you in this wayhouse?
Stop talking, get inside, close the door.
Yeah, what he said. And then I grab my knife and I back up more towards Marcus, away from Kusanagi.
I kind of stumble over, like, now I'm not even trying to hide the fact that I am pretty messed up. And I close the door and I say, okay, well, you're not cannibals, so there's that. That's good. I'm Kusanagi.
As he's talking, I immediately start to look over him to see how bad it is.
You can make a first aid check if you'd like, Marcus.
I will try. And as I do, I say, were you sent by 10-4 as well?
Not specifically, but I do know 10-4. Yeah.
He could be dying for all you know, Marcus. It's hard to tell. You have 5 degrees of failure.
Yep.
Ooh, I should sit. Are those crates spoken for? I'm gonna sit.
Sure, have a seat, man.
It's been a day, night. It's been a time.
Yeah, for me, it's been a life. About that.
Okay. I mean, yes, I'm the one who has been attacked by a very large trained animal recently, but sure, you're having a hard day, kid. Sure.
I will
Hard
help
life.
Kusanagi sit down. What
Oh,
happened?
I'm sitting. They have a bear.
Unfortunately, there's too many theys in this world.
The Marauders.
Ah.
The Marauders.
Oh,
You know them?
I heard about the bear. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know their territory extended to this area now, but I guess it does. And I'm missing some friends, actually. Yeah, but they're fine. They're totally fine. They're survivors. They probably spent more time out here than I have. It's... What did 10-4 send you here for?
Before I even answer, I just look back at the door. I don't hear anybody else behind. No one else seems like they're coming up.
Seems like this is everybody for now.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, I hesitate to impose, but are either of you a doctor? Do you know a doctor? Have you ever seen a doctor do any work? I am not a doctor. I am in a lot of pain.
Unfortunately, that is not my expertise. And
I point out a first aid kit that's on the wall. There's that thing.
Thank you. I did catch your name. And I'm like trying to wipe some blood out of my eye, and then I touch one of the scratches, and I'm like, ugh.
Cherry. And then I'll, you know what? Why don't you just sit there? I'll go grab it for you. And then I go.
Thank you.
But I want to see if the first aid kit is empty or not, because it might have been already.
I'll let you. How many? Let me ask you this, Cherry. How many survival points do you have remaining?
Let's see, survivor points. So when I should I have been taking away survivor points for all those failures? Because it's what I have.
No,
Okay.
just survival points, as in whatever was left over after your creation.
Okay. And where would I know it's on the character sheet somewhere, but it says 0.
Okay, so you have no survivor
Nope.
points at this point. However, if you wish to spend a single competency, I will allow that first aid kit to be fully stocked.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. I'll use one.
All right.
All right.
So with the expenditure of that point, you open the first aid kit on the wall, and while it is dusty and rusted, you break the latch, and it is in fact still fully stocked, miraculously.
And then I just walk over and I hand it to Kusanagi, but then I like back up from him because I don't trust him. So I'm just have at it.
Thank you. Okay, just
You
need to
got it,
stop
dude.
bleeding. We're gonna talk. We're gonna all learn a lot about each other. But first, I'm gonna stop bleeding. I hope.
I don't know how the system specifically works. Is there anything I can do to help, to assist this?
You can if you like. So Marcus, if you would like to support this, you can additionally make another first aid roll, and we
Okay.
will see how you do as you are trying to help this man as he is bleeding profusely.
So should I make one too?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll be combining your successes.
When I input the kit, do I put that I have a first aid kit?
Yeah.
I don't have a training
First aid
value
kit,
in it. I don't think.
It's a ×1, or I'm sorry, ×2 training kit.
Okay, I'll just do ×2 then.
Yeah.
I am going to use 2 competency points to make this one success. Well,
Bold.
So you shift that before you spend those competency. Since we are new here, I'm going to let you wait before you do that to see all of the failures and successes.
Okay.
Kusanagi has 3 failures, so in total you have 4 degrees of failure to try to aid Kusanagi in the situation.
Man, they make these hard to open. It's slippery. I guess it's harder when you have a lot of blood on your hands, but yeah.
Do you wish to spend any competency point, Kusanagi?
I don't think I do. I think if I see someone else trying to help me, I let them help me.
You are all suffering through this first aid kit, and unfortunately, you do wrap him up, but all you've done is effectively wasted bandages, as there's very little that seems to be able to be done. Kusanagi, I would like for you to make an endurance check with 2 black dice of difficulty as the amount of blood that you've lost has continued to grow.
All right.
Don't like that.
Let's see. Oh man. Giro kid none.
You're trying your hardest, Kusanagi, to keep up a strong face, to smile and do everything that you know to endure people around you, to try to bring them to your cause and not make them turn you away. You know that this might be your only chance at survival. You've stumbled through the woods for some time now. The sound of the bear still rings in your ear. You remember seeing Digger get dragged away with the dead body of that old woman still being pulled behind the beast. It slashed at you.
I can review this later. I think that for now, I think I should just try to think of a happy place. I start trying to think of the theme songs to my favorite sitcoms.
You have 2 degrees of failure on your endurance check. Do you wish to spend competency to make that happen, or should we have you make a composure check?
I think I am going to spend 3 competence just to get through it. That'll bring you up to 1, right?
Yes.
All right.
You catch your breath. You lean up against the wall. It's blood smeared. Marcus, you are watching this man, keeping your ear to the road outside as the rain pours down around all of you in this small concrete building. The cot that Kusanagi is on is the only one that is here. The light from the TV still flickers. Cherry bomb. You're watching all of this. The 3 of you are standing together. Lightning strikes. You see the flash, and then thunder rolls.
I feel like something happened to them, Marcus.
Repeat that, sorry?
I feel like something happened to them.
If they're who they say they are, I have to believe that they'll get here.
Did you see anybody else out there, Kusanagi, besides the bear?
Yeah. There are cannibal cultist folks. I don't like to judge. I think people, especially these days, really have to forge their own path, their own lifestyle. But yes, they eat people. They had a trained bear. There was a woman controlling the bear, but then they shot her, and the bear was really upset.
Stop touching your face, please.
Oh no, this is the good side. This is the bad side. Oh, it's very bad. Is it bad? Is it really? Is it bad as it feels? Oh man, I think I'm gonna pass out.
Do you want me to lie to you?
No, don't. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna pass out soon. Please help me.
There's not much I can do, but I do just try to keep them as calm as possible, because I know that the more you exert yourself, the more you put out too much energy that just saps you in the wrong places, and that doesn't help you heal, and it makes things worse. So he's just, you're not gonna like me hearing, you're not gonna like hearing this, but you need to stop talking and breathe.
Marcus, make a calm other check.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay. Didn't realize that was even a roll.
And then while he does that, I want to try to look for some Advil or some pain reliever in my bag for Kusanagi.
There are so many pills.
Okay, and then I hand some to him in my canteen. Here.
She has painkillers, handmade painkillers. They look like they're from Grey Ridge.
I promise it's not bad drugs.
If you know what went into making these, you wouldn't be so casual about handing them out. But, geez, I'm kind of...
I got a single degree of failure.
Yes, you did.
In this moment, I am going to spend 2 competency points.
Ooh.
So be it. You calm him, Kusanagi, between the 2 individuals within this bunker with you. Though your wounds are still painful and weeping, your pain is relieved, and your mind is calmed. But outside, further in the dark, there is a gunshot, and you hear them shuffling and moving. we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. The railway track is under your boots, Ichiro. You're tired, you're cold, you're wet. You don't know how long it's been. Hours at least. Sullivan Town is behind you. You made the choice. Get help, and then come back. At least for Camilla. Lampwick, maybe. As you started to approach the safe house, 39, you weren't sure what you were going to find. You see a flickering light, and in the distance you hear the hum of a small generator, the rickety old clanking as it rings out in the dark. You've pulled yourself closer. Make for me a single stealth roll.
Utilizing my gear?
Yes, you are actively trying your best to move as stealthily as possible, using every resource that you have available to you. 3 degrees of success, that's very good. The real threat here doesn't seem to be from the safe house. You've heard and seen what happens when raiders and other individuals have been breaking into the safe houses recently. The destruction and the carnage that they leave behind. Nothing seems directly out of place. That doesn't mean that this is safe, just that initially there doesn't seem to be a threat. No one's guarding the exterior of the building. Everyone, at least the movement and the shape and the sounds that you're seeing, are inside. But then you hear the shuffle of rocks just a small distance away from you. A figure pulls itself out from the dark and lunges towards you. A Romero, drenched in its own black bile, covered in vines that have grown around it, lunges forward. You hadn't noticed it. You hear the breaking and cracking of both bone and branches as this thing drags itself closer to you. What do?
Normally, Chira would go for the silent approach, but since it is right there, she's going to pull Robin's revolver that she had taken from him earlier, and since it's loaded, she's going to use this ammo to shoot the Romero.
You fire. Go ahead and make a roll with your pistol, please. This weapon is rusted and old. It has no benefit to it. You'll be rolling straight.
Then she uses her own pistol and had
As I had described Robin's gun, it was poorly maintained.
I had forgotten that. I was thinking ammo, not pistol condition.
You fire your own pistol. You have the 3 times modifier for the Citadel gear then.
Thank you.
Three degrees of failure.
You know what? No, I'm just gonna, I think I'm just gonna miss.
You fire over its head. It's not a catastrophic failure. And I think you stumble back a little bit.
Am I in a location hazard right now?
You are now in a location hazard as additional Romeros break out from the vines and the plant life around you. You see them pulling themselves up, their slick, formless bodies appearing covered in these vines and moss and growth. Dead eyes, hungry mouths as they lunge forward.
I'm gonna make a run for the shelter.
Everyone within the shelter, it's been a little more than an hour since your first guest arrived. Bloodied, mauled by a bear, nearly unconscious. Kusanagi is now with you. Marcus, Cherry Bomb. While Kusanagi is barely conscious, the two of you hear a gunshot and the stirring of Romero's out in the night beyond the door. What do you do?
I look at Cherry. I have not yet to get her name. I realize that, and that's okay.
I said it out loud to Kusanagi, so you would have heard it. So I was being a hard ass about it with you.
Okay, you're correct. I don't know you, but I trust that you can take care of yourself, as you've said. Do you have a gun?
I have these, and then I show him the bullets that I have. But I that's all I have. I got my handy dandy, and I just raise my knife.
Then stay behind me and don't use it unless you need to.
Hey, where are you guys going? Are we shooting now?
Quiet, you. Go to sleep. You need to heal.
I feel like I heard shooting.
You heard shooting, and you're not well. You need to stay here.
Okay.
And I'm going to. I am hate using this, saying like this, but I'm in officer mode. Door is open. Pistol is down but drawn and looking to see where they're coming from, trying to get like a hearing circumference, if you will, of like where they're coming from, what other sounds I might hear, just so I know who to pick off first.
After all the time that you've spent in the apocalypse, your life is so far behind you now. You've become something so much more, and you're a protector, a guardian, and you know how to cover an area very, very skillfully, especially when it comes to dealing with the Romeros. The dead don't act like people. They have predictable patterns, and you've learned these patterns over the years of fighting and surviving out here. Same with you, Cherry Bomb. You understand these things, and while it seems as if Marcus may not have faith in all of your abilities, your handy dandy has put many Romeros down in the past. You don't mind getting a little closer to them because you're quick.
So what do we see approaching us?
Yep, that's what my next question was. What do I see?
Outside the door, you see the heavy rain in the night. You see a figure on the rails not far away, moving very quickly towards the shack. What do you do?
Quickly as in Romero quickly, or quickly as in not so dead?
Make a detect motives for me, please.
Okay. Oh, you better hope I am good at this. Okay. None, one.
It's 3 degrees of failure.
I see that figure. I see that figure and I aim. And as it gets slightly closer within the radius of, or within the range of where I know the bullet is not going to drop off, that's when I shoot.
You're holding your shot. Cherry Bomb, would you like to make a detect motives roll?
I would like to. Yep.
As this figure comes closer to you out of the dark, there's a stumble to them, but they are very quick, and you have heard rumors. Cherry Bomb, with your degree of success, this isn't a Romero, and you see as Marcus raises his pistol, he's about to fire.
Wait! It's not one of them. Put your gun down.
Achira, you hear voices, and then you see a figure with a gun pointed towards you.
Put your gun back up.
Achira, what is your intention?
What's that?
Achira, what is your intention?
I'm gonna raise my gun. I'm stumbling out of the dark, and I see that someone has a gun pointed towards me.
Guns are drawn.
And
make a-
Achira's going to yell out, "Drop it, or I drop you."
They spoke.
You
Not
know
a
that this is
Romero.
not a Romero. Yeah. In fact, Cherry has confirmed that and grabbed your
Mhm.
weapon. Just you were on the trigger, ready to make this happen, and you had them lined up pretty well.
Okay, sorry. Then with that, gun does not drop. Gun goes, and if they can see, gun goes past to see what's following them. And I say, "Why are you running?"
Why do we all run? Romero's.
Then I stay aimed and drawn, ready to see if a Romero comes.
Strange shapes start to fill the open area behind this figure who's appeared from the rail tracks. Jagged, broken, stick-like Romeros who are pulling behind them foliage and leaves, vines and moss, dragging themselves closer slowly.
If Achira is still running, good. If I see Romero behind them, I shoot.
Okay. You fire at the Romero behind them. Go ahead and make your pistol shot, please.
Okay.
You have a 3 times modifier for your weapon.
So I guess do
Heck
the
yeah.
pistol. I do the gear, pistol. I do 3 times multiplier. That's it?
That's it. Don't worry about your depletion yet as you are firing for the first time.
Oof.
Do you have anything that modifies that? Any special abilities?
I don't think so. I think anything is already accounted for.
Excellent. That's 2 degrees of success. It's
There's a
very
4
good.
Heck
and
yeah.
the training value of 1 is, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that's that.
It's
that's
good.
fine.
You strike a Romero. I'll roll the damage for it. The dead creature stumbles forward. You hit it between the eyes. Its head explodes outward like a melon and sprays across the open air as it falls in a pile down on the ground. There are 5 more still stumbling forward. Achira?
Achira's going to take this time to keep on moving forward. She's going to put her pistol away, try to get some distance because she's going to bring up her long gun. She's much better at that.
All right, you pull some distance away from you and these creatures. You pull up your long gun, and you can roll now to attack if you like. As you fire into the horde, as it stumbles forward. You watch as this individual pulls out a rifle, levels it with skill. She's trained. The 2 of you immediately notice this. Kusanagi, you're inside the shack. Do you have any intentions that you would like to add to this?
I think if I'm conscious enough to get up and go look out.
Stagger out.
I'm not going to leave the station, but I would like to at least see what's going on.
Nosy.
Yeah.
You make your way down there. I will have you make a search check. I'm going to give you 2 black die of difficulty, but I'm going to let you make that roll as you kind of stick your head out as the gunfire begins to erupt at the edge of the station. Sure, you have 2 degrees of failure on your long gun. Do you wish to do anything to change that?
Yeah, I will go ahead and put in. I'll put in 4 competency points to make it 2 degrees of success.
All right.
We've got to cut down their numbers.
Absolutely.
I like that.
You do strike, however, this is not a headshot. You end up hitting its center mass and it stumbles back. It falls to the ground and starts to pull itself back up.
I'll let anything with Kusanagi happen, but seeing that it at least stumbled, I aim to take it out.
Okay. Cherry Bomb, your intention here. Were you doing anything to attack from a distance or maneuvering yourself?
Yes, as they're aiming, I sort of go along the wall of the building and try to sneak a little bit past them or past where Marcus and Akira are, and I want to throw my knife at one of them, and then if I succeed, grab my knife and then take out at least one or two more if I can.
Okay, let's see how you do here.
Okay.
You're gonna throw, so make a throw check with a 3 times modifier.
Okay.
Because this knife is well known to you. It's handmade by you. It's something that you've used multiple times to do just such a maneuver.
Okay. Throwing.
You feel the well-balanced piece of metal in your hand as you pull it back and you throw it. Now you have 2 degrees of failure here, but if you have competency, you can correct that.
Yes, I will use 2 of the competency points.
If you use 2 competency points, it's going to bring you to a wash. And in this game,
I'll use 3. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll need 3 to make it a success.
But Cherry Bomb, this is a location hazard if you have anything that gives you extra competency points.
Okay. What are some of the things that could give extra competency points?
If it depends on your special abilities.
So I have, let's see, I have slashing and throwing. Special abilities would be.
You want to go to attributes and ability at the top of, or not, I'm sorry, your character sheet. If you go down.
If you have acumen, which should be close to the top of your traits, and it's a number of competency points for location hazard should be there, like whatever your tier is in that.
Okay, you do get 2 additional due to this being a location hazard. So since you do have acumen, you get 2 additional competency points for this encounter.
Okay, great. Yeah. So then I will use. So then since I get the 2, I'll use 4. So 4 total. So I'll use the 2 that I'm gaining, and then 2 of the remaining 6 that I had. So I have 4 left.
Okay, amazing. So you do strike the Romero. The knife hits it, and it immediately strikes into the skull. The creature drops, and you run forward and grab the knife.
You grab it
However, you have to immediately, for me, make a dodge check as one of the other Romeros tries to grab you as you pull the knife out of the skull of the fallen zombie in front of you.
Okay.
You roll out of the way. It snatches at air. Cherry Bomb, you are safe for the moment. Let's go through all of our intentions, and then we'll figure out what our next round of rolls will be. I'll start with Kusanagi. Kusanagi, you're watching all of this. You did get 1 degree of success on your search last round, which means you recognize Achira.
I think I look around and scan and make sure that there aren't like tons of other folks with torches. But once I see that it's just Romero's, I think I'd call out to Achira. Just be like, Achira! These people are friends. That one, very helpful. Such a soothing voice. It's me, Kusanagi. Remember? We met at the Citadel.
Oh, cool. I know it's you.
I
can tell by the fact that you keep talking.
Tell her that you know us.
Yeah, this is Cherry. Cherry is very good at finding first aid kits. I have not known her long, but that is something nice I can say about her. And is this one this very authoritative person?
Less talking. And I just continue.
Yeah, there are 3 other Romeros lunging towards all of you, dragging these.
Can I take a shot at one of them? I mean, I have my gun, so.
You absolutely can. You're going to be doing so with 2 black dice of difficulty, but you may. So that's your intention. Achira, what's your intention? Roll me a blue speed die as well, Kusanagi.
Okay.
I'm going to keep shooting.
Okay, go ahead and use your long gun. Since you were shooting last time, you're not going to be saddled with any black dice of difficulty for drawing the weapon. Roll me a blue die for your speed as well, all right? And then also, since this is the second round that you've fired, I'm going to have you roll 2 white dice for depletion. Marcus, what is your intention this round?
I saw one stumble. I saw one that Achira shot, but she's probably going to take that one out. I did see one lunge at Cherry, who I specifically said to stay back, but she took one out. Seeing the other one almost get her, I aim for that one. I aim for the skull of that one.
All right, so go ahead and if you're firing with your pistol, roll your pistol again. This time roll a single blue die and 2 white die.
Do I do that after I do the pistol roll?
You should be able to select it as you roll.
Oh, okay. So you said 1 white die. How many?
2 white die and 1 blue die. And that's for your speed.
How many white die did you say for me? Was it 2 or was it 1?
It's 2, please. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then pistol.
And yeah, sorry.
I also have that acumen trait. So have I picked up how hazardous this location is? Do I get 2 competency points?
Everyone who has acumen is going to get the additional competency points, as you are currently in a location hazard, surrounded by these strange Romeros that have pulled themselves out of the forest around you.
Yeah. I think I'm the only one who doesn't have acumen.
It's the Achira special. That's you have to take it.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
It's literally the only thing that kept me alive in the early parts of this game.
Oh my god.
Okay, so then Cherry Bomb, what is your intention? We haven't talked about that yet.
So my intention is I'm looking for my tribe essentially, because I came here to get stuff for them, and so I'm concerned where they are. So my intention is to get rid of these Romeros and get past these people so I can find where they are at.
So intention in this game, and I'm sorry I didn't explain this to you better, is that intention is sort of like your action. And what we do is we collect all of our intentions and then we roll. And the blue speed die is going to be effectively our initiative, as it were, in another game. So when you roll that blue speed die, I'm going to use that along with your intention and how complicated it is to assign certain values to it. And I'm doing all that behind the scenes.
Okay,
so what action would you like to do?
So the action, so I'm still on the ground from when I dodged the other one, but how many more are coming at us? Because I know that Marcus is aiming at the one that I just dodged.
There are 3 that you see that are still standing.
Okay.
There's 1 that's on the ground that Marcus seems to be aiming at.
Okay, so I go to so one that is walking. I go and I since I have my knife, I'm going to try to stab it in the ankle, so that I can bring it to the ground and then take that one out.
You're going to hamstring the Romero and try to bring it down. All right. So for you, what I'm going to have you do is I think that's going to be a slash. And I'm going to have you do that with a ×3 modifier because of your knife. And I want you to roll, because it's very quick. You're very quick to move here. I'm only having you roll a single blue die, and that's all I need from you. You have no depletion for your knife.
Okay, so do I just, that's just a die on here, or is it a die, that physical die?
You can roll a physical die if you want. Just tell me.
Is it a D6?
It's a D6, yeah.
Okay, great. That's a 5.
Okay, so you're going to be operating on a 5. So let's take a look here at how we did. You can go ahead and roll the rest of it in roll 20 if you like, Cherry. Looking at the top here, the first thing that happens is going to be Achira. Achira, you pull your gun forward and you're firing. You don't deplete the weapon. However, you do have 4 degrees of failure on this.
Okay, so what I am thinking that happens with this, with 4 degrees of failure, I'm not going to use any competency for this because it would wipe me out completely. So what I'm thinking with this is that she swung around a little bit too fast with her long gun. She's got a lot on her mind. I mean, I spent competency before to do 2 successes, and I didn't get a headshot with one.
Did you get 2 successes after?
I spent a total of 4 to do 2 successes with the one that I was aiming at with my long gun.
That's my mistake. It's on the ground now. I'll allow you to carry a success over then for your next attack.
Okay. So thank you. For the 4 degrees of failure, I'm thinking that she swung around just a little bit too fast. She did get a lot of food in her, but she did just trek out here like 4 miles to get to, Station 39. So I think she wavers a little bit and goes down on one knee, making her completely miss this shot at the zombie I'm sorry, the Romero that's on the ground. And then she goes down to one knee. She still has her long gun up, but she visibly just like missed.
Yeah, so it won't be, so it removes any sort of need for any drastic failure on that, and you drop down and you just miss that shot, but you have repositioned yourself for the next round. Let's go then from Achira, who now you are within the confines of that group, though, so you are flanked by individuals around you, and you're not just out in the open. So let's go from that to 5. On 5, I have both Kusanagi and Marcus. Let's start with Marcus. Marcus, you fire your pistol. You have 2 degrees of failure and no depletion needed for the gun. What would you like to do with those 2 degrees of failure?
I'm going to keep him. I'm going to keep that he missed. But I think with the missing, it's going to also potentially draw that Romero towards me and away from Cherry Bomb. I think that's probably how the failure works out. But I definitely am trying my best to stay in control, and I am. But a certain loudmouth behind me is getting me out of whack. But I instantly shut that off so I can prepare for the next shot.
Okay, so then you focus and you find your moment of clarity as you re-aim. You do miss, as there are fewer of the dead now approaching all of you, but they are getting closer. On 5, we also got Kusanagi. Kusanagi, you're back by the doorway. Despite your wounds and your current state of mind, you have 1 degree of success on this attack.
Yeah, I think I kind of stumble forward and put my hand on like one of the sort of pillars that's supporting like the little awning on the outside of the station. And I sort of slump forward with my gun extended, and I use the railing kind of like a rest. And I try to pick off basically one of the Romeros that's close to Achira.
Is it possible for me to give my carryover success to Kusanagi for them to have for this role?
I'll allow it currently because I did you dirty earlier, and I apologize for that. But there was 1 degree of success here for the pistol shot. If you take the second free success from Achira, that will make it 2 degrees of success, which will hit the slow-moving, very wounded-looking, grown-over Romeros. And in doing so, it's almost as if their bodies have decomposed more so than regular Romeros. You hit it, and its head explodes outward, and it drops to the ground.
Nice. We should get inside.
What you can do when you're not talking all the time, Ku?
Silence is golden. You're right, Achira.
Cherry Bomb, you roll forward, and you slash at the hamstring of this Romero. However, you unintentionally break through old bone, and the whole foot comes off as the thing topples forward. Make a dodge check for me.
Okay.
That's 4 degrees of failure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh man. I will not use any points because I only have 4.
All right, you have 4 competency points remaining. If you spend 1 of those competency points, you will remove the 4 failures down to 3 degrees of failure, which means that it will not be a catastrophic failure.
Okay.
A 4 and a 5 are very bad. A 3,
do I still have the acumen?
You have the 2 additional, but you spent those 2, so it's
Oh
only
yeah, that's
whatever you
right.
have
Okay.
left.
Okay, so I'll use the 1 so it's not catastrophic. Ooh. Yikes.
Okay. Yeah, so with the 3, it doesn't fall on you, but it does grab you and is trying to pull you into it as its rotten, disgusting mouth
Oh god, it stinks so bad.
lunges forward.
I try to push it off me.
Its dead eyes loll as it tries to pull you closer, and you're now wrestling with it on the ground.
Get it off me! I'm trying to like elbow at it and like break its ribs.
So your intention for this next round is to push this thing off of you. It's going to be a brawl check.
Okay.
You can use any equipment that you might have. I don't know that you have anything that's going to specifically affect that.
I don't think so.
So it's a straight roll, but you don't have any black dice of difficulty or anything added. Make a single, roll a single die for your blue die so that we know when you act, however.
Okay.
And then
3.
Marcus, what is your intention?
How many are left?
With this one down, there are only 2 standing.
But it's down and on her.
Yes.
Yep. You all hear, I mean, he has a very calming voice, but this sounds very authoritative, as if he is someone who is very used to giving command. And he says, deal with the other 2. And I go for the one that's on Cherry Bomb to kill it. So she doesn't have to suffer more.
How are you going to kill this Romero?
It's like, I could just shoot it.
It is on top of her.
I know, but
you better not fail.
I'm a marksman, basically. But
oh man.
Okay. I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to go big, go Six Flags. My intention is to rush after, and almost like football player bum rush this thing off of her, to put some distance between her and it.
That will be a brawl. So you can make a brawl check as you tackle this thing, as it tries desperately to snap at Cherry Bomb.
And as he does that, I just go, I was trying to help.
So do roll 1 blue die for me as well, please, Marcus.
On the thing is marked as a D5. Should it be D5 or D6?
So it's technically a D5. The 6th side is the hunter's mark. And if you receive that when you roll, it is a 6. And what that does is that means that it gets rolled again because it explodes.
Understood. Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Cool. So there is no 6, but a 5 can turn into another number, and it can be more than a 5.
And I should have no white die, correct?
No white die. You're tackling, so no depletion or anything like that.
This might not be good, but we're gonna try.
Okay. That's 5 degrees of failure, Marcus. And we'll come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
You do have a speed of 1, which is good. The result may not be. Achira, what was your intention in this round as you see Marcus lunge forward and Cherry Bomb on the ground with the dead reaching towards them?
Achira heard Marcus say, go after the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
However, Achira does not know Marcus, even though there is a very melodic voice and reassuring voice that said that. Achira does see someone who's been trying to take out Romero's on the ground with one. So she is going to try for a headshot on this zombie that's on the ground wrestling with this person. So for instance, if this works, then a failure could be the Romero's already dead, for instance.
Or if you roll any degrees of failure, it could turn into a much messier situation as 2 living people are now wrestling this thing. We'll see. I am hopeful that this works out. Go ahead and make your long gun roll. And you don't have any dice of difficulty because you've described yourself as being well positioned and taking your time with your shots. It is raining and it's dark, but you managed to push through that. As you fire your weapon, roll for me 1 additional speed die. So you have 1 speed die. And then at this point, you're rolling 3 white dice for your depletion.
3 white dice. Oh my goodness. All right.
While you're doing that, Kusanagi, what is your intention?
I'd like to stay in the position that I have. Like, I'm not going to move, but I'd like to use my sharpshooter trait, which will give me +1 to hit and damage as long as I don't move. So I'm at this point I'm pretty comfortable on this railing. Do I have a clear shot at the one that Marcus and Cherry are tangled up with, or does it look like I might cause more problems than anything if I shoot
Horribly
into them?
complicated shot at this point.
Yeah.
The other two Romeros are still moving towards everyone else as well.
Yeah. I think, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to take out one of the two. I mean, that's what Marcus told me to do. So how can I say no? You know? So yeah, I'll try to take out one of those with a very carefully aimed shot on the banister. I still have the 2 dice of difficulty are because of how injured I am, right?
That's correct.
They've still got those? All right.
You do. But that is the only thing that is going to be restricting you. This is your second shot. Please roll for me 2 white dice of depletion and also 1 blue speed die.
Okay. And how does my sharpshooter get rolled into that? I'm gonna.
If you're
it's
using
if I hit, yeah. It's if I hit.
If you hit,
it's
it's the damage. It presses the damage up. So if you hit, it's pretty much going to destroy one of these things. They seem to be falling apart for whatever reason. That's 2 degrees of failure. Okay, so let's go through this though. We have a 5, a 5, and a 1. So the first person that we're going to resolve is Marcus. Marcus, you tackle this thing as it lunges towards Cherry Bomb. However, you have 5 degrees of failure.
There's no way this can be a success. So I'm going to use that's a lot of competency points.
Sometimes there's a whole lot of failure in this game, but there's some failures that are less failure than others, and that's all.
Yep. That's what it is exactly. I'm going to use 4. I'm going to use 4 competency points to make this 1 degree of failure.
All right. That is a very minor failure. So what I'm going to say happens is that you do tackle the Romero. You pull it off of Cherry Bomb. Cherry Bomb is no longer under attack. You, however, are under attack now, as it has rolled on top of you and is snapping inches away from your face as you use your forearm to push the dried, rotten husk away from you.
Get away from her! And I just try to get her, get in between as best as possible and if I get hit, that's fine. I just want to make sure that she's good.
You have saved Cherry Bomb without a question.
Thank you. I back up and I stand up.
You, however, are still under attack as the weight of this thing is on top of you. Next up is a 5, which is going to be both Achira and Kusanagi. Let's start with Achira. Achira, you have 1 degree of failure on your long gun, but this thing is now being pressed up as Marcus is lying underneath it. Its head, you're watching it in your sights as it moves back and forth.
I'm going to use 3 competency points to headshot this thing off of Marcus, since he
crack.
propped it up very nicely for me.
Yeah, with a crack, its head explodes and gore pours outward, covering your face, Marcus.
It wouldn't blow back, because,
Much of it did, but the head, as I've described them, falls apart as if it was a rotten melon.
Close your mouth, Marcus.
Oh yeah, he knows how to deal with these situations, but he doesn't look or smell good.
Make a dodge check for me, Marcus.
Why would you do this to me? I can't believe you've done this. Can't believe you've done this.
It's my job.
So bad.
That is 1 degree of failure. Do you have any competency remaining?
With this seems like it should be minor, but this is Romero stuff potentially getting on and or enemy. Yeah, that last one's gone. I'm making that a wash.
A wash is still a failure, but it's much better than 1 degree And so, I'll be making a roll on my side.
I don't like this.
Oh
The
no.
Bible said that you do not try me. In the book of Don't Try Melations, okay?
I'd like for you now to make an endurance check.
Uh-oh. Do I add anything to this? No?
It's just a straight endurance check.
Cool.
1 degree of success. Congratulations, Marcus. You do not become infected. However, you are covered in what is known as bile. It is toxic and very dangerous. The infection spreads, and if it gets into your eyes, your mouth, it could be the end for you. You need to clean yourself immediately. And you know this as this corpse flies off. Achira has just saved your life, but at the same time, you're still in danger. Kusanagi, you have 2 degrees of failure on your pistol shot. Do you wish to change that?
Yeah. I'm going to spend my last 3 competence to make that a success, to try to pick off one of the other 2 Romeros.
And you have sharpshooter, correct? So that's going to change the damage. I'm
Yeah,
going to allow that.
Yeah, I'll give me additional.
I'm going to allow that to move it over to 2 degrees of success. So you explode the head of this slow-moving, vine-covered Romero. And again, its rotten body just falls apart as it hits the ground. There is 1 enemy remaining, lumbering over all of you. Cherry Bomb, you're free. Do you have an intention this round?
Yes, I want to see if there's not fountain, but where they connect the hose, faucet on outside.
I'll remind you all that it is raining.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So then, yeah, my intention was to try to get Marcus clean, and so I'm grabbing I'm looking for a bucket or something so I can just get a bunch of water and toss it on him.
There's an old, rusted bucket on the outside of the building. You think it will hold water. You think it's been collecting water from a drainage pipe for some time.
Mm-hmm.
You run and grab it.
I grab it and then I throw all that rusted water onto Marcus.
Marcus, you are doused in water, and while the rain was slowly removing some of this bile, the bucket made short work of it. You are drenched to the bone, but you are safe.
And just, I mean, I would, for that moment, I would have taken my shirt, flipped it on the inside where the bowel, anything didn't touch, and wiped the remaining of it from the open areas on my face, my mouth, my eyes, my nose, ears, stuff like that. The most important parts at this moment.
You are cleaning yourself now, and as you do, the final Romero stumbles forward to the 2 of you as you are the closest to it. It reaches out, you Cherry Bomb, and grabs at you. However, its slow, vine-covered hand pulls apart and flesh sloughs off of the bone as it grabs your arm, leaving behind a large, wet, slick trail of black bile.
I try to, I whip out the knife and then I try to slice it off to get the hold of it off me.
You easily cut the arm off, and the arm drops to the ground, flopping like a dead fish.
I stomp on the arm. He's still coming at me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna try to go for the throat with the knife.
I'll allow you to make a final attack with your... Yeah, make a slash. What is everybody else's intention while this is happening? Marcus, you're cleaning yourself. Achira?
I'm going to. Well, I'm at a distance. Alrighty.
Yeah, you're further back. You're back by the shack itself, by the safe house.
I'm going to do another long gun shot. I'm gonna try to headshot this thing. If this doesn't work, then I'll be dashing forward with my knife.
Okay, Kusanagi, is there something you'd like to do as this last one is grabbing at Cherry Bomb?
I want to see if I can turn this into a hat trick. I'm gonna shoot this last
All right.
Romero, or try to.
I'll have you make your attack as well. Everyone should roll 1 blue die because the 2 people firing have been aiming this entire time. And then we'll see who goes first here.
5.
5 for Cherry? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Kusanagi, you have a 5 as well. What is your depletion on your pistol?
I think it's higher than 9. Let me pull
Okay,
up
I believe it is 2. I believe it is 2.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's probably a 15. So I think you're all right. Okay.
It is,
and
yeah, 15.
Then Achira.
Am I still rolling 3?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ugh.
Okay, so you are out of ammunition and need to reload.
And that sucks because I had a speed of 1, so I would have gone
Oh.
first with competency points. So I'm gonna take this round to reload.
And just so I'm understanding, since I was cleaning, this round was happening as I got cleaned or after I got attacked?
You're going to be completely safe now. If you wish to give up on the wipe down, you can move over and do something else.
Yeah, as long as it's not in the. We got most of it off, and I know, and I feel comfortable with it not getting in good space, spaces like that. Then I would stumble, gonna kind of just roll to the side a little bit, and aiming upward to not hit anyone dead on. I'm going to try to take out that last one from the ground, using that position to like really steady myself.
Perfect.
And get him.
Go ahead and make that pistol roll then.
Uh-huh.
As you sort of drop down and try to fire in a safe position towards the last of these Romeros.
Any white dice, I assume?
Yeah, so you're going to have 3 white dice.
3, and that's...
I believe, because you didn't fire before you had tackled, so 3 white dice.
Okay. And 1 speed, I assume?
Yes, 1 speed.
Cool. Don't F me over. I say that, and it probably does. Nope. And it's a 1.
Yeah, you did pretty well, Marcus. Yeah. So, and Cherry, was this your slash here? The 3 degrees of failure. So you swing outward with your knife and you miss. Is there anything you wish to do?
I will use. I have 4 left. I will use those 4.
Okay, so that's going to happen. But first things first.
Okay.
Achira, you reload. You're right now reloaded and ready to go.
Marcus, she aimed and there was a click.
There's a click.
She's like, shit. And now she's reloading her rifle.
Marcus, you drop to the ground and you fire. You have 1 degree of success. Is there anything that you want to do to change that? You're muted still, my friend.
Oops. I don't have any more competency points. I don't think there's anything I can do to change that specifically.
You're out of competency points.
Yeah, I mean, I am a protector, and I use them on everybody else but myself.
Good.
Good. So yeah, it is 1 degree of success.
All right, so you do hit. I'm going to roll damage. Do you have anything that would alter the damage of the gun that you can see immediately on your sheet? I don't see anything. No,
think so.
Yeah. I'm getting word from Alex that it's straightforward. Yeah. So he knows the character really well too. So you fire and it blows through the chest of this thing, and there's a gaping hole where its heart should be. Its ribs are broken, and you can see through it. However, it's still standing. Moving past Marcus's action. We have, next up, you were going to spend 4 competency to make this 1 success, Cherry. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you have 1 degree of success. I will now roll your damage. And Cherry, you stab into this thing, and your knife gets stuck in its cheek, and you haven't pierced through its head. And so now your blade is poking through one side of its head, and it's turning and trying to bite at you. As you hold it back.
I try to twist it out, and then I put one leg up on him and try to like pull at it and while I'm twisting.
All right, you're trying to do that, but we'll come back to you. Kusanagi, you have 5 degrees of failure.
Jeez Louise.
I think at this point, I've been so focused on trying to get my shots in that I haven't noticed that the bad bandaging on my face has been just basically like running down my hair and my arm and in the rain, like my grip on my gun has gotten slippery. And I think I basically try to pull the trigger and it just like falls out of my hand, like into the brush or like the bushes or whatever overgrown around the outside of the station.
Are you out of competency at this point?
I am out.
So with 5 degrees of failure, I agree with you. However, I need to add something else because it's not just 4 degrees of failure. The gun does slip out of your hand because of the wetness, the blood, and the bandages, and it drops to the ground. However, it discharges as it hits the ground. And I'm going to make a roll. It fires back into the hut, the safe house, and ricochets off the metal roof. The bullet embeds in a concrete block right next to your head, Kusanagi, but you're safe.
Oh.
Did anybody else see that? No?
No one else saw that.
Achira's reloading her rifle. She's...
With the dead piled up outside of this Ender's Line safe house, the rails in front of you, the rain pouring down now, becoming stronger as mud and gore cover many of you. Cherry Bomb, you have this Romero pushed back with its head positioned away from you with a knife, but it manages to pull its head back. And it throws itself forward as it tries to bite you.
Okay.
It misses, however, and its teeth shatter inches away from your face.
Ugh.
It's now the final round of combat as this dead thing draped in vines, hole in its chest, staggers between Marcus reaching and grabbing at Cherry Bomb. Kusanagi, you're disarmed. I assume your intention is to grab your weapon?
Yeah.
Achira, what is your intention?
I can't get my dignity back, but I can at least get my gun.
I've reloaded, and I'm shooting this Romero. I'm getting this away from these people that are trying to help.
Long gun, no black dice of difficulty, no white dice of depletion, and 1 blue speed die, please. Marcus, what is your intention in this last round?
To remember my training, as this Romero is focused on Cherry Bomb, remembering my training, breathing in and aiming for that goal as best as possible to make sure it stops moving.
All right. So go ahead and as you breathe and focus yourself and continue to do what you've always done out here in the wild, protected those who need it. You aim your weapon, make your pistol roll. You have, I believe, now 4 white dice of depletion and a single blue die to roll for me in addition. Cherry Bomb, you still have your blade. Your knife is in your hand as this Romero has pulled itself off of your attack. So you have a weapon. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna spit around to the back of it, and then I'm just gonna try to jam it into the back of its neck.
All right, you step forward. Make your slash attack with just 1 blue die. You have no depletion to roll, as this is a very well-built blade.
Okay.
And then
That's a
we'll
2.
see. 2 for your speed. All right, and let's see how you do on the attack.
Okay.
1 degree of success. All right. So the first thing that happens is Marcus, you're on a 2, Churi, you're on a 5, and Cherry, you're also on a 2. So on the 2, for both of you, at the same time, your knife plunges into the back of this thing's skull. And Jamarcus, you fire. Do either of you have any competency to spend to adjust what you've done here?
No, I'm tapped out.
I'm tapped out.
The bullet pierces through the creature, Marcus, and part of its jaw explodes outward, just inches away from what you now see to be Cherry Bomb, appearing out of nowhere, stabbing this Romero in the back of the skull. You stab into the back of its skull, there's a sickening crunch, and then you pull the knife back and it stumbles, and black gore pours down its back, but it's still standing. Achira, you have 3 degrees of success, and you fire.
I blow this Romero asshole to hell.
Its head explodes as you've taken aim, and its body drops to the ground. All of the Romero are now neutralized. You're all standing, looking at one another in the rain, covered in mud and gore.
Are you the Enders that 10-4 said to meet?
Yeah. That's us.
Hi, I'm Cherry.
I'm Achira.
Marcus. We should probably get inside.
Yeah, you think? I go. I go in. I don't know if Achira's gonna say anything over to Marcus.
Yeah, Achira is going to go over to Kusanagi and help drag him back inside the shelter.
All right. Yeah, as she's helping me inside, I'll probably whisper to her, remarkably lucid given the circumstances. They seem all right to me.
I wasn't paying much attention, but did you almost shoot yourself in the head?
No. No. A little.
As I'm gonna let them all get inside, be the last one inside. I'll just do one final look, not anything mechanically, just one final look, close the door, and make sure something is propped up to make sure it can't open.
You feel that you're safe as you close the door and you block it. It locks from the inside if you choose. There are latches and locks that you can use.
I don't normally bunker down. In fact, in this situation before, I never stay inside, but we've got to rescue some people.
I thought you were rescuing us. I mean, Digger's in trouble. I mean, the bear probably ate him, but
Speak for yourself. I did just fine.
I'm here to make sure folks get back to a better safe house than this. If that's the 3 of you, then I don't know if I need to protect you.
Who else is still out there, Achira?
Well, there's a person called Camilla. She's 6 months pregnant and trapped in Sullivan Town. She got stabbed with a bone marrow knife when we rescued her from the marauders. She's not in good shape. We had to cut off where she got stabbed. So now she's in Sullivan Town and she's laid up. I had to leave Lampwick there. And I wish that I'm sure he'll understand that we'll come
He's got
back.
his bodyguards too. He'll be fine.
They aren't anymore.
What?
They're both gone.
It's Lampwick. He's this friend of ours. He talks even more than I do.
Oh God, help us all.
You all see Marcus's face drop.
You okay there?
You know Lampwick?
Where? I'm in beard, short hair.
I like to call him Bullshit Jesus.
Yeah,
That's a good name.
pretty accurate.
Lampwick.
Listen, I'm sure he's made a lot of enemies on the way, and whatever he's done to you is, I mean, we'll sort that out later. Right now, we all need to survive.
He wasn't my enemy.
Oh,
What
okay.
was Lampwick to you?
Where?
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Marcus. Where did you say he was?
Lampwick is in Sullivan Town. He's basically in custody of the Shepherds, the faction that changes the Romeros. They sent Romeros after me. They halfway have converted Lampwick into their missionary religion.
He always seemed like more of a leader than a follower. Are you sure he's not just playing, the Lampwick long game?
I'm pretty sure that he probably is. But he's in a position right now that they have a lot more power over him than they normally would.
Yeah. I mean, without his enforcers, I mean, Lampwick can talk, but there's a limit to that.
Well, he might technically have one, but I don't know if it's going to protect him the way that it did before. And I use the term "it" because that's what Granny Hodges changed it into. She's one of the Shepherd's leaders of that faction. She took that sentinel who was killed by a member of the Citadel called Rowan. She's one of the top echelon over there. And she's an asshole, don't get me wrong, but she's really, really good at what she does. Koo, you know what I'm talking about.
I do, yeah. Nachira has the right of it.
Is he in trouble?
I think he's in the most trouble that Lampwick has ever been in.
Yeah.
He needs their help, and pretty soon they're going to realize that he needs their help. The sentinel that they had as a bodyguard for him is now this four-legged abomination. It moves fast, and
Ooh.
it's not human or Romero. I don't know what it is. But he's in there. And so is Camilla. And we are the only people that know that they're there and probably care at this point.
I shouldn't care, but I do.
I mean, I don't know if we can do anything for Digger, but I think the only reason that I'm here is because he's made a decision. I mean, the bear seemed to work for the Marauders, so I don't know if
there was
Digger
a bear?
Yes.
And you see Achira, like, start shaking a little bit.
Yes, there was a bear. And it dragged off Digger. And if it's a trained bear, I'm hoping it seemed trained. I mean, until Digger shot its handler. But, I mean, I just hope it didn't eat him. Do bears take prisoners? Do trained bears take prisoners?
Marcus goes
Maybe trained bear.
to sit down, and you can tell that he is, even outside with the Romeros, he was very focused. He is something's way off, but he sits down and just starts to breathe.
Marcus, you slump down into the chair. Everything kind of drones away. Kusanagi's voice, Chira, everything around you. You hear Cherry Bomb not far away, her breathing, but it all dissipates. And you close your eyes. And you're sitting there. Long ago. So many years you don't even know how to begin to count them. A few years after the fall, when did you forget to use a calendar? And he's sitting next to you. His daughter in his arms. Your arms around his. Lampwick leans into you. The weight of him, the smell of him, so familiar. You loved this man. And then it was gone. You open your eyes, and you're back in the safe house. They're still talking, but you're somewhere else still. And that is where we're going to end our session tonight.